Yeah, do you think that's the case?
My
You
my
know,
my favorite is Big Bang Theory.
I feel like How I Met Your Mother is maybe it's more outrageous, which I think
Okay.
makes it funny.
Okay.
It's
So do
sillier.
you?
Like Barney's an absurd character, and
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm on season 3. I love him.
Okay.
Ted is annoying.
I hate Lily.
Oh.
It comes and goes. It comes and goes with Lily.
When Lily pulled, are we on record yet, or are we just
We're on
when
record.
Lily when Lily pulled that move on Marshall, lost me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely
when she
lost.
goes to New York.
When she moves to San Francisco to
Or
learn more
San
about
Francisco,
herself,
yeah.
classic move to make me not like you there.
Yeah. So I mean, are you all in on Barney then? Or is
I
Marshall
love
your
Barney.
favorite?
I love Barney because he knows his role. He knows his role. He's a skills player. He can't really stay locked down on one team, but he knows that. He's got locker room problems, but he does
I
his
love
job.
the technical breakdown. Looking at it like it's a roster.
I go back and forth on how I feel about Robin. Sometimes I like her. Sometimes I'm like, meh.
Yeah, remember she's from Canada.
Yeah, it's like a lower standard, right? So by that, I do like her.
Right. Well,
It's all about Barney.
Yeah, it is all about Barney. One of the things I wanted to ask you about is the upcoming World Team Trials. We got 4 weight classes to look at and some pretty deep weight classes too. And I kind of wanted to get your opinion on the weights, who your favorite, or the guy you're cheering for at each weight, and who you think is going to win it. I think one's obvious, but outside of that, I'm interested.
Yeah, at 61, it's pretty wide open. Probably pulling for the field. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I figured.
Vito's sitting in the finals, and he's been looking good, really good. So he'll be ready to rock. And it's nice when you're sitting; you don't have to navigate the whole thing. You can just load up for 2 good matches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right.
So that's good. I'm excited to see Marcus Blaze because I remember, the times I've seen him wrestle, I've always thought he was really good. And at the trials, kind of the way it worked, it was like he lost to Soriano in like a pretty scrappy match, and then everyone kind of forfeits out on the backside. So he just wrestled maybe 1 or 2 more matches that whole time. And I think they were against like Forrest and Lillidahl. He might have wrestled another senior level guy. So I'm excited to watch him.
He wrestled Nico.
Yeah.
He wrestled Nico. But it was like he lost. Then he got like 2 forfeits, beat Lillidahl, or maybe he beat Forrest and then Lillidahl.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see him against more senior level guys, and I like watching. I like how he wrestles. He's really hard to score on, and he's just impressive for a kid. Yeah, and they're all very good. Like this feels like it's most of the good 61 kilo guys are there. There weren't a ton of good 61s that really retired.
Right. Yeah, Seth Gross, Nashawn Garrett, Dayton Fix, Marcus Blaze, Vito Rujao, who's sitting in the finals, Austin DeSanto, Devin Turno, Nico Pruvo.
And that's pretty much all of them, right? Maybe we're missing 1 or 2, but
that's a pretty stacked list. Yeah, I do want to see Marcus Blaze against guys like Austin DeSanto and Nashawn Garrett and see what
Seth Gross look like. That'd be an interesting match.
Yeah.
I think Blaze and DeSanto would be funny.
Yes.
Oh, DeSanto's going to try to kill him. He's going to have his elbows in and push him away.
Right. Yeah. Well, there was a time where we were thinking maybe we would see you wrestle at this tournament. We'd see you wrestle at 70 kilos. That's not the case anymore, but very interested to see what you think about this field. There's a lot of youth, and then there's a lot of guys that have proved themselves to be top level guys, not just at our country, but at the world level. James Green, Alec Pantaleo, Jordan Oliver, they're all in there. What do you think of this weight? How do you think it's going to shake out?
There's a lot of things about 70 that I thought were I can't come up with the right word, so I'm going to say funny, but it's not haha funny. It's some other kind of funny. Like Jo, obviously was like amazing, and it'll be interesting to see, how he looks after some downtime. Same with like James Green, and obviously the trials didn't go how he would have liked, but he's just not really a 65 kilo guy. So at 70 is probably the weight he would have liked to be at. So it'll be cool to see him, better fed, how he does. And I saw this and it was making me think. So the Junior Worlds are, this weekend for men's freestyle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And PJ's wrestling there, and then he's going to go to this tournament 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
Same with Blaze, right?
Him and Marcus.
Yeah.
Blaze,
Yeah. I
I
mean,
mean,
gamers.
I'm wondering,
Yeah.
what kind of, I'm kind of wondering if they're doing kind of a, we'll sign up, but we'll kind of see how we're feeling afterwards kind of thing.
I just feel like that's a lot. Not a like, I mean, a lot of kids have wrestled 2 weeks, but you fly out, you do the whole acclimation, you wrestle at the Junior Worlds, which is a big emotional buildup, I would guess, for, somebody. Then you got to get back home, like unwind, but you're not really unwinding because then you're going to run into the World Team Trials.
Yeah.
And I feel like the schools of thought, right? It's like, all right, well, I have momentum. Let me just ride the momentum. Or like, all right, I just, maybe you win. You're like, all right, I just won the Junior Worlds and I need a break. Like I trained really hard and I loaded up for that. And now, you put yourself at risk going to the World Team Trials. But I mean, if they're ready to go, good for them,
And I just think they're, they're kids and they're still growing too, like, do you really want to cut back down? I know I heard Marcus Blaze is planning on, wrestling 38 in high school this season. So does he really want to cut back down to 61 again? And same with PJ. And I don't know. I could just see those guys being like, because I think they're both going to probably win Junior Worlds. So, but you never know.
Definitely going to be in the mix.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least like, I know PJ a little bit better than I know Marcus. And I know that he wrestles, he competed a lot when he was younger and stuff. So it's not like it's surprising, but you just hope that everything comes out all right and that they're not, putting themselves in a position to get hurt or just not wrestle well because of the opportunity. But if they're ready to go, like I'm really interested to see how they, again, like kind of talking about Blaze, same with PJ, like how that looks for them, because I mean, PJ, like he tech falled everybody. He didn't really have a competitive match at 70, right?
Right.
Leading up to it, at least.
Yeah, him and
Webster,
I think Webster
was
gave
sort
him
of close.
a closer match, but he's still
Not
controlled
really
and dominated.
So when someone hasn't lost, it's like, well, let's just see what the next step up looks like, right? Which will be super interesting.
I would love to see.
I definitely feel like
and Bryce Andonian. Like I think that matchup would be lights out.
Ridiculous. Yeah, definitely. I feel like Green and Pantaleo, I don't know if advantage is the right word, but have an advantage because that's the weight. Like this is the weight class they actually would prefer to wrestle at. Because then you look at I'm trying to think about like Mendez or Ramirez, where like they wrestle well at the Olympic trials, but they're probably true, 141, 65 kilo guys, and they're going 141 this season.
Yeah.
So it's like, how big can they really be? And that's going to be difficult, or they're going to cut a lot of weight, I guess, during the year.
Yeah. It is interesting to see Andrew Alirez and Wyatt Sheets. Like Alirez wrestled 41, Sheets was an All-American at 57 and spent some time at 65. Like it's interesting to see that these two guys meet at this weight class and
definitely could wrestle.
Definitely could wrestle. And just, I am excited. This and 79 kilos are, battling in my mind every day for the most exciting weight class because there's just so many interesting matchups. I would love to see a round robin where Bryce Andonian gets to wrestle all these guys. And this is going to be a fun weight.
Sam originally thought this weight was going to be a snoozer.
I did. I think I said a couple weeks ago that I was like, you got James Green, you got Alec Pantaleo. Jordan Oliver said he was going to wrestle, but we'll see. Until he gets signed up, I don't know. And I couldn't really come up with any other names. And right off the bat, I was proven wrong that this is going to be a very exciting weight class. So
yeah, some good newer guys for sure. I think 79 is going to be like electric.
Absolutely. I mean, you got Jordan Burroughs in Omaha. How's he going to lose?
Home turf.
Home turf.
Kind of.
How do you lose?
Kind of. He's Philly, but it's home turf.
Yeah, I mean, he's lost. He lost at Final X against Isaiah Martinez in Omaha, but he still won the series. And he beat the last time he beat Dake was in Omaha. Like it's just
we're going back to the Nebraska dual meet season,
right? And you're just gonna feel it. So yeah, him, Alex Derringer, David Carr, Chance Marsteller, Evan Wick, Joey LaValle, Keegan O'Toole, some later on guys like Demetrius Romero and Clay Lauder signed up too. Yeah, this will be a good bracket.
That's what's funny about the senior level is you'll watch like an NCAA finals match in the round of 16 that no one really cares about because of all the other really good guys. But if that match just happened on its own, people would get really excited about it.
Yes.
Right.
Like Carr and O'Toole could wrestle literally in the round of 16 or the quarters. And it'll kind of just get like buried in with all the other matches, but that's like a huge match that people would. That was like match of the tournament maybe at NCAAs last year.
Yeah. And I mean, they'll probably both be seeded, but not super high, and you could see them in the same quarter of the bracket maybe.
Yeah.
79.
Who did you?
Sorry, Sam.
Well, who did you say you think is going to win 70?
I didn't. But I guess I would have given the edge to like Pantaleo or Green, seeing that that's their weight class.
Right.
And I didn't want to give a great answer on that because I don't really know like how James would look. Like when he was active, he kind of got the better more often, I think.
Yeah.
So just about, how close he is to his prime, and if he is, he's going to be really hard to beat. If not, right. Pantaleo is continuing to improve, so it would kind of make me lean more towards him.
Right, and there were times where he was the number one guy based on the UWW seeding. He was the number one guy at 70 kilos, so he's shown that he's really good at that weight class, and those would be my two guys. But Jarrett JQ's had a really good Olympic trials. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with guys like Will Luan.
Missouri, that's your turf.
Close to it, yeah. I mean, we don't associate with those guys, but we're close to them.
Boo.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think 70 is exciting.
79, it's hard to think that Jordan isn't the front runner, but I mean, Chance literally beat him in their last match. So,
right. And I'm just excited by the idea that Jordan Burroughs has to wrestle through a whole tournament, so
there will be so many good matches.
Yeah. Yes, and I personally, I don't know. I'm conflicted. If I can be selfish, I want to see Alex Derringer win it, but also at the same time, the legacy behind the idea of Jordan Burroughs winning that bracket and going out and winning another world title. Crazy.
That feels poetic. Feels poetic. Derringer's awesome. I really like him, just like as a dude. And Jordan, but it's poetic for him to kind of ride off into the sunset. But obviously, every other guy in the weight class understands that they're going to have to probably beat Jordan if they want to have a chance at winning. So, it will be the same situation for him, like kind of again, just with the whole bracket instead of one guy.
Yeah. See the way that he bodied Mesenbrink. I don't think he's going to lose to a guy like O'Toole or David Carr. But Derringer and Marsteller, I think back to when Derringer hit him in a fireman's, and he also did the same thing to Aaron Brooks. Like he can do that to anybody. So maybe he can win with that.
And same deal. Like when I think about like Derringer and David Carr, like Derringer was at 86 kilos.
Yeah.
Not that long ago.
Right.
And then David's going 165 like this year, I think, or he's a 74 kilo guy.
Yeah.
So not like whatever, but we have weight classes for a reason.
Mm-hmm. That we do. Now this, if you want to say that there is a snoozer weight class, I'm still interested in this weight. 92 kilos.
What?
It's still really good, but it's
It's
just
got
like
Pat Downey in it. What more do you need?
Bunky.
The Lizard King.
The Lizard King.
When you compare it to 70, 79, and even 61, it's like the firepower is not there. But yes, you have Trent Hidley, you have Zahid Valencia, Pat Downey, Aiden Sinclair, J.I.L.O. Like, still going to be really, really good matches in this bracket.
Will Trent raise the roof if he wins, or will he eat a sandwich?
Why not both?
He hasn't busted out the sandwich in a while, I feel like.
He's going to do a little
Me
bit
and
of
Julian were just talking about that because he ate the sandwich on Julian.
Was that the last time he did it too? Or did he do it in college?
I don't think he ever did in college.
Yeah,
He'd probably lose a team point for eating a sandwich on a guy like that.
Probably.
Bring the sandwich back.
I'd love to see the sandwich make a comeback.
Yes, for sure.
I got a question. You mentioned weight classes. Have you heard, Yianni, anything about them changing weight classes potentially on the senior level?
I feel like every Olympic year they talk about changing the weights, and then, these have been the weights since 2012. So I guess when you say it like that, it actually hasn't been that long. But I feel like every Olympic cycle I hear like, oh, we're going to change the weights or they're going to do this and that. And then, like half of the proposed changes go through. I wouldn't mind if they change the weights. But I wasn't going to give it too much traction until I heard something other than like Twitter rumblings, at least for myself.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind having the men's freestyle and Greco weights like coordinating somehow.
You would think that would make sense.
Well, Greco guys are a different size than freestyle guys.
Yeah, they're actually a different species altogether. So Joe Rao is the only one that can like.
There's men, women, and Greco.
Right. Joe Rao is the missing link, is what you're saying?
Joe Rao is the missing link.
Oh, jeez.
You actually start out. You could be either one of them, but then as soon as you graduate high school, you have to splinter off. It's like a puberty thing, kind of. So
yeah. No, men, women, Greco.
Speaking of Greco, okay, so U20s just happened. Greco got 3 medals. Great for them. 2 silver and a bronze. I don't know if I talked to Ryan and Reese about this, and I doubt, Yianni, that you saw Aiden Atau's second repechage match. Have you heard anything about this?
I actually only saw the medal matches because they were night. I was sleepy.
No, that's totally fine. So, Aiden Atau is wrestling this guy from Turkey, and he goes up 3-0 and then gets thrown for 4 and gets put down for passivity. So he's losing 5-3, and for the entire second period, he's just kind of not charging at him, but he's closing the distance and like bringing shoulder right to shoulder and kind of clashing body to body. I guess it started to get under the Turk's skin so he loses the match, or is losing the match 5-3 with less than a second left. And there was like a restart 7 seconds ago. And he goes in for one of these charges again. And the Turk just ducks his head and headbutts him with less than a second left.
Dang.
And so
talking about a buzzer beater penalty point?
Dude, nothing happens. And then USA challenges. And then the challenge, they're like, yep, there was this, and there was still time, and it needs to be penalized because it was within the match, so it's a caution in 2, and he won the match. And the Turkey coaches flipped their lids and got
that would inspire a naked protest out of me.
Dude,
honestly, my guy, the buzzer beating caution too.
Dude, and you know what? All the credit. Because there's been enough times where us as a country, we've been screwed over. We've seen the bad guys get away with the wrong things. I don't know if they're the bad guys, but the other guys. And so I was like, oh, you know what? We'll take it. We deserve a gift every now and again. And
what was
honestly,
his reaction? Was he excited, or was he more just like, okay?
He popped off a little more than I would have personally done if I had won a match that way. But dude, you're wrestling for another medal. It's at Worlds. I get it. And like the other thing,
reacted to that.
You have Robbie Smith. He's not in the corner. He's in the seat behind the corner.
Yeah,
and
like the chair or whatever.
If you ever see Robbie Smith in any coaching format, he's a coach and a cheerleader at the same time. So I really think the only reason that the events that transpired in that match were because of Robbie Smith and the way he eggs things on, dude, the whole time. And then
Man, we got some Robbie
in
Smiths.
his bronze medal match, he's wrestling. I think it's a Russian. Pretty sure it is. It's a neutral athlete, and he's getting bodied pretty bad, like driven out, gets put down for passivity. I'm like 3-0. Okay, this was fast. Like we're in trouble. And then they lock up in this over under position, and the Russian steps in to go over under throw, and a towel like spins through on it, plants his own feet and throws him to his back, like cresting the out of bounds line, and then gets the pin, wins the match. Robbie Smith comes up and he lat drops Robbie Smith. I'm like, I cannot believe that Aiden Atau has had the 2 days that he's had to get a bronze medal. It has not been anything normal. So,
dude, that's like a 3-hour stretch of victory.
Dude, it was, yeah, because he got, there was, I don't know who the guy was that beat him, but he was good. And then he smashed some Puerto Rican kid, had that match against Turkey, and then had that match against Russia. And I was like, dude, you have not had a regular experience at Worlds. So
yeah, I mean, good for him, man. Catching the right side of Lady Luck is always awesome.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I just had to get that out because I was watching it and I was like, I got to talk about this. So
yeah, that's a crazy way to go, but got it done.
Right. Now speaking of U20 Worlds, your brother wrestled at U17s.
Yeah,
he got a bronze medal. I'm sure we think he definitely could have won.
I felt like he could have won. I feel like not like he should have won, like there was some bad call. He just like tactically wrestled the match poorly. And that kid had good match tactics, like in reverse. So it's I forgot his first name, but it's young Petrozvili, so little Petro. Mm-hmm. And he shoots a ton. He shoots a lot. And he wrestled Lige. And I noticed he kind of got tired, which would have been nice to know before the match, but it's like kind of like a staring contest. I think Lige goes down like 1-0, maybe because of a push out, maybe it's 2-0. I don't remember. There's like a shot from young Petrozvili, and there's a scramble, and Lige comes out of the scramble on top. He ends up getting reversed after, but he takes one more shot that goes like 2-2, and Lige comes out on top. Another shot, and Lige takes him down, and then he was like, hold on. What if I stop shooting? And then he is hard to score on, and that's kind of where the match got away from me. I think he ended up losing like 7-5 or 7-6, but he was definitely tired. Not like so tired, but tired like it makes me frustrated that he didn't do a little more in the beginning. But I mean, I'm happy for Lige because I think he was disappointed with Fargo. He tore his labrum and it was dislocating a bunch, so he didn't wrestle great. And I think he was just really upset with himself, and he got the call about 4 weeks before the Worlds and just moved up to Ithaca. Was doing RTC stuff with me. And he wrestled really well. Even in the match he lost, he wrestled good. And then he was pretty dominant in all the other matches, so I was really happy for him.
Yeah, it is also interesting that you mentioned that he got tired because like it's hard to take advantage of that kind of thing in 4-minute matches, which is like I still don't get why we do that, but
sometimes I feel like at the cadets it's like emotional fatigue.
Because like for sure,
not enough matches and you're a little stressed out. And now it's like the world championships,
everything matters.
Yeah, maybe it's just more stressful. I mean, or you're just out of shape, but
it is. It's funny the way that you're describing the events of that match unfold because it sounds exactly like the way Geno's match against Zari unfolded, where he's like, wait, I don't have to shoot to stay in this match. Problem solved.
I actually had like a bet in for Zari that I thought Zari would have won.
Really?
But watching the match, I was like, I don't even care. I wanted Petrozvili. Like once I was watching him and Zari, I was like, come on, I'm pulling for Petrozvili. Because it's like he went up 9-0. He thought he teched him. So it's like, and this Olympic gold medal has eluded him for so long.
Yes.
Then they undo it. It's like, all right, well, you're up 9-0. And then he gives up like a push out or a takedown, then another one, and then another one, and you're like, dude, don't do this right now.
Yeah.
You just not like you feel bad, but you're like, come on, man, get this. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not the way you. Is that cool for Zari to win that way? Because you know that Petriashvili went through that emotional roller coaster. If I just text,
I mean, it's
the guy in the
definitely
Olympic
cool for Zari
finals,
to win that way because that would be like the most heroic comeback victory you can have.
I guess he would be crowned in Iran, wouldn't he?
Yeah, they're putting him on the throne.
Right.
But for Petriashvili, it's like, especially because the other way he lost to Gable, it's like, dude, 2 cycles in a row would be tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went bronze, silver, gold. So I am glad that he ended up getting that done.
He got the sequence right.
Plus, like, I'm never inspired by watching Zari wrestle. So
No,
he's really good at pushing.
He's really good at pushing. He's really good at not shooting. So I mean, he's got that going for him. And if it works, if it gets through the Olympic finals,
he looks like not a big heavyweight.
Yeah. Geno's tall, but you're still right. But yeah, the Olympics. I haven't asked you about that yet, or none of us have. What have you thought about it? What's your review overall, and for the U.S. in particular?
Japan, I feel like every year they do a really good job. I feel like when I watch the Japanese guys over the course of a cycle, it's like they don't care about the worlds as much as everything centers around the Olympics so heavy, because every year they look substantially better at the Olympic Games than any other thing you see them at, really. Higuchi is maybe an exception because he cut a lot of weight. Like, he looked great at 61, but
yeah,
I thought he looked better at the Olympics than he did at the 23 Worlds,
Mm-hmm.
Are they just phenomenal game planners? Like,
I think
it felt like they had strategy.
I definitely feel like a lot of the foreigners don't scout or strategize too much.
They just wrestle.
And it seems like the Japanese guys do. Like, in some key matches, I feel like they knew exactly where they needed to go to score. So that would make me think that at the minimum they addressed it in practice. Like, hey, when you get here, you have to do this.
Right.
And they just looked they all looked like a little bit better than you may have expected them to, which makes me feel like they just maybe peak or prepare or I don't know what, but they're doing something right where they're always ready when they need to be at the Olympics.
Yeah.
How do you explain that 65 kilo final, that match? Because I feel like that was I just didn't understand what I was seeing, really.
What?
Well, Muzad was on fire, and when Seabass almost got Kyuka, I would have told you Tolga was going to make the final. I actually thought the Mongolian was going to make the final the whole time. I thought it was going to be Mongolia versus Iran. Like, when I saw the just as the tournament was unfolding. But then, I mean, I was double wrong because Sebastian also beat the Mongolian, which was a great, great match. But I don't know. It was like the kid's moves just worked better.
Yeah.
Like, when I watched him in the ranking series, he didn't do anything different than he did at the Olympics. It just worked on everybody.
Yeah. I just don't know how he was able to keep Amuzad off of him so well.
I feel like he did a really good job with his head and his elbows. It's good head position and elbows in, but Amuzad's so long that he kind of just throws his arm in there, and he moved his feet in the right direction to kind of make the underhook a little tougher to get to, and then he just kept his elbows back. And I feel like once he had his score, he was like, okay, you can chase his underhook the whole rest of the match. I'm up 10-2 or whatever, so
right.
Come get me.
I could not believe it felt like we were seeing a different Amuzad on day 2. Because I was like, man, day 1 Amuzad, I just feel like was unstoppable.
He looked insane.
Yes.
Day 1. And some of that, I mean, I don't know, maybe Musakayev is getting older or whatever. But he looked really hard to beat. And then Kyuka beat him, and I was like, wow. Because, I mean, even in July, Haji Aliyev beat him
Right.
Beat
like
Kyuka.
7-2 or he beat him
Yep.
like 7-2 or 5-2, and then he did win the match against Musakayev, which was, Musakayev was the world champ the previous year. But then I don't know. It's just like if Aliyev got him, he kind of figured, and he couldn't really get to his legs, so I figured someone else would have just like learned from that and been like, all right, well, this is what I'm going to do when I wrestle. But not really.
Mm-mm. Yeah, it was a wild tournament for sure.
There were a lot of. The Olympics is always crazy, right? But
Yeah.
there were some seriously good matches. Like, I know he lost, but I thought Brooks and Ramazanov was like an awesome, super hard wrestled match.
Yes.
That was a bruiser of a match for sure. And I'm
Yeah,
sad. I'm sad that Aaron Brooks wanted to seek comfort and thought that diving in on a shot would keep him safe. I don't know. Who am I to say he's in the Olympic semis? Like, what am I going to do? I don't know, but
You certainly would never. You would never do that.
I've never shot and lost a match shooting before, so
I've only ever seen. I haven't ever seen that, but there has been so many times where I've seen that go wrong. So I'm just like,
it almost never works. The shoot and hang method.
No, you won your first NCAA title off that.
Off the shoot and hang. I've lost a lot of matches on the shoot and hang too.
Yeah.
I watched
Shoot and hang.
Sam Latona and Cody Phippen wrestle at like the Cheesehead when they were in high school, and Cody Phippen was winning by 1 point and shot in on the leg with like 5 seconds left or maybe 10 seconds and was hanging on, wasn't really trying to work for a finish, and the ref hit him for stalling and sent it into overtime. I could not believe it. I was like, it was crazy.
Some people out there that's bad.
It was bad.
Dude,
I could not believe it.
bad.
I was like, oh my god. And then Sam Latona got a takedown in overtime and beat Cody. And I was like, oh my goodness.
That's bad, man. Calling a kid for stalling for shooting.
Yeah.
Like, yes, he is stalling, so I guess you're right. But
in the
you're not
rules,
supposed to do this.
in the rules, he's totally like, that's, he's attacking. So,
yeah.
Dude, down here, I guess somebody was getting up off bottom and like got up to his feet and was rear standing, and the coaches were like, all you have to do is stay on your feet, like don't get returned to the mat, like the other kid's gonna get called for stalling, right? The ref hears the coaches say that, watches the match go on, and then calls the kid on bottom for stalling.
Oh no,
dude, you've got it. And Southern Alabama in particular, but probably Alabama as a whole, the officiating is a 0.1 out of 10. It's so bad, but still.
It's like at that point, just call a stalemate then if you know what's going on.
Right.
Yeah, yes. Don't spite the coaches.
It's also like, you don't have, like you're going to screw the kid over.
Right.
Yeah. It was bad. Yeah, shoot and hang doesn't work.
Shoot and hang is a bad strategy.
Yeah.
Right.
But
okay. This is what I want to ask you. Do we think Kyle Snyder or Tazudinov moves up to heavyweight?
Snyder.
Yes. Have we not been talking about the fact that apparently the weight cut's hard for him?
Oh,
really? I feel like when I was around him, it wasn't that hard. Maybe he's gotten bigger though.
Maybe we're wrong.
I
would probably.
Well, I just remember. I remember for Final X one year, him and Jordan Burroughs both were kind of struggling.
Maybe that was the scale, though.
Maybe it was.
Just from what I've seen, like, I don't know. I could be wrong, but I feel like I would have told you he makes weight with relative ease. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, I have.
And I'm thinking back like 2 years ago, like maybe he was just bigger. Now.
Maybe. But I think Tazudinov.
He got dad strength and maybe he got dad muscle.
Right. I'm thinking Tazudinov needs to go up to heavyweight and prove that he truly is. Because if he goes up to heavyweight, bulks up, and like dominates there, it's like, okay, yeah, you're pound for pound #1 guy. Not even close. Like,
He was double champ.
yeah, that'd be crazy.
He's good, man. And the fact that he was doing all that with his shoulder falling off.
Yeah.
He's
Oh.
really.
What was up with his shoulder?
He had shoulder surgery like right after the Olympics.
Yeah.
Really? Oh yeah, I remember seeing the photo of him and Sadulayev. Dude, that's crazy.
So we're talking handicapped Tezudinov.
Dang.
Bodying people.
He's
Molly
good.
flopping the
Dude,
field.
it almost looks like he's not trying sometimes. Like his first round match against Iran, he's down 3-0 and he's not really doing anything. And then his coach is like, you have to like, I don't know. I don't know what he was saying, but he's yelling at him and he's waving his hands like, you got to do something. And he was like, oh, okay, takedown. Oh, takedown again in like 30 seconds.
It's like that one scene from The Incredibles where Dash is running on the track, and it's like, okay, like, hey, you have to start running, you have to start trying, but make it close. But you gotta try a little bit to win this. Second, we want second. But no, he wanted first.
Yeah, it was impressive. It's just crazy like he was not trying.
Dude, him at heavyweight would be sweet though, especially if Geno comes back and
Zara.
like that. Zara would be interesting.
Or Masumi. What about Masumi?
Is that the guy?
Zara.
No, that's the heavyweight that's behind Zare.
He's wrestling.
Oh, yep.
He'll be at U20s. He'll be at U20s.
Yep.
But he won. Was it? Did he win U17, U20s, and U23s last year, or something like that?
I don't think so.
It was something like that. He won 3 things. Oh no, I think it was just Euros and then U20s and U23s. I think he won all of those.
I think I remember him at U20s, but I don't even know about the others.
Yeah,
he's Jimmy Mullen at U17s 1 year, right?
I think
I had right.
2021 Worlds,
sure,
maybe in Budapest.
Or 22.
But he beat Christian Carroll last year.
Oh yeah,
and he's a specimen.
Remember when what he did to that tall China dude?
Yeah, and he also, I think he wrestled Zilmer at the World Cup.
Yeah.
Is that who that was?
Yianni, you were there.
Is that who that was?
Yeah. Yes.
He did wrestle Zilmer. He kind of controlled the match, if I remember, but I might be wrong.
And right now he's 19.
Wow.
So he would have been 16 or 17 or 18 back then.
Jeez.
So, wow, that's really impressive.
Yeah.
I think eventually we'll end up seeing him.
I want to know what a match with him and Zare looks like.
Apparently Zare wins it. Apparently he can't beat Zare. I don't know what it looks like, but.
And how old is Zare? He's like 23 or 24.
He's young, like 22, yeah.
He's 23, yeah.
Dang.
Don't tell his hairline.
Dude,
hey,
come on.
man. Don't you shame people. Don't hair shame.
I was making a joke because I would have guessed he was like 26. I'm not even kidding.
He looked like that at U17s.
Who did he wrestle at U17s?
I think Greg, Kirk Flatt. I think
wrestled
Kirk.
Kirk?
And Paris, obviously. Oh, no, that was juniors.
He wrestled Paris
That was
at
juniors.
juniors, yeah. At U20.
I'm pretty sure he wrestled Kirk.
Fireman's them.
Yeah, it ended in like 30 seconds.
That's so sweet.
Oh, yeah, he wrestled World Cadet Championships in 2018. I don't know who that would have been.
Yeah, I don't remember that far back, unfortunately.
It was Kirk. I'm telling you.
You were there in 2015 and 16.
I believe you, Reese.
Yep.
Yianni?
It's Kirk.
It was Kirk, sure.
I'll look it up.
Okay, look it up. What was I was gonna ask you something, Yianni. Oh, college just started. You're kind of, you're involving yourself in as much of a capacity as you can, and unofficially in a way.
Player coach.
But you're but your brother is kind of the assumed guy at 125, right?
Yeah, I'm really excited for him. I think he's going to have a really good year. Shocker, I feel that way, but I'm excited for him.
I am also very excited for him. I've been on Team Greg for about 2 years now, and I'm ready for my stock to pay off.
I'm a good 20 years into the Greg hype train.
Somewhere around there. Yeah. Is he gonna do the whole I'm not shaving my beard thing for the entire year? Is he just gonna look
getting
like,
gross Greg? I hope so.
Yeah, he's a little D'Agostino-esque, basically.
I'll go in waves of just super, super long beard, long hair, and then get a haircut and shave at the same time.
I would like a buzz cut beard combo.
No, you won't get that out of him. He likes being pretty.
I know, but I would love a little menace.
Yeah,
that would be my favorite.
Prison Greg.
Yes. Yeah, and then you got the whole team with their schedule, and Cornell's schedule is typically pretty tough.
Usually tough, yeah.
What we got?
I'm excited. I think we still have, I guess not that many anymore, but maybe 1 or 2 weights that are we're figuring out what's going on with guys who's going to end up wrestling. But I think they're going to have a good year. We have a lot of guys with that are right on the bubble to me of placing that, if they can all put it together, right, we're going to be very good. And then obviously,
is Vince going to be healthy for this year?
He's on the way back right now. He'd like to be, but he's also being really diligent with his PT. And, with ACL, it's like a re-tear, right? That's really demoralizing and sets you pretty far back. So I think he's trying his best to just take care of that and kind of go from there.
It's the right thing to do, though, to be diligent.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to go back too early.
No.
So what? I mean, in my mind, the people that I have are Greg D, Brett Unger. Cornell is 41, right? No, or is he 49? He's 41? 41. Okay. 49, Fernandez, maybe. I'm not certain about that. Shapiro, 57. Ramirez, 65. Ruiz, 74. Foca, 84. I don't know about 97. And then heavyweight, is it Sharp or Compton, I think?
It'll end up,
you guys?
I mean, I'm not supposed to say, right? Because it's we'll see what happens. But it kind of feels like, Ashton Davis might be the front runner just because
That's who I forgot.
He's been on the team for a year. Compton's also at heavyweight. He just finished his straw year.
Right.
His gap year. So it'll be those two. And then 97, it'll be Delegata or Hanning, right?
Right.
Hanning is, I don't know exactly what year he is because he's had a lot of injuries. He had elbow surgery. He messed up his hamstring last year. So it's kind of, he's starting the season again, but hasn't quite finished one yet. And then Delegata just finished his strong year. He had a good gap year, and he took third at the U20 Open. So
it's pretty solid.
Yeah. And I think the team's going to be good. And you know what I mean? You list a lot of guys who haven't been on the podium yet, but it's they're right on the bubble, and you're hoping they make a push this year. They're a little bit older and all the more wiser. So kind of hoping
if there's one guy outside of my Indiana Hoosiers and Greg Diakomihalis that I'm pulling for, it's Julian Ramirez. I need him on the podium. I need him at the top of the podium, if I'm being frank.
Yeah, I want Julian to have a good year bad.
I mean, he can have.
He is so good.
He can have whatever kind of year he wants. I need him to have a good March. That's
a really good weekend. Have a good weekend.
That's all it is. That's all I want for him. So.
Yeah, because he's actually had great years.
Phenomenal years.
There's some disappointing weekends. But he's good, and he's focused, and I think he kind of understands, all right, this is my last go at it. I'm going to do a really good job and make sure I do everything I can to be ready and all that.
Dude, what I realized today is we should expect to see, unless something changes with what we're hearing, but if I can get a Carter Storace, Chris Foca NCAA final this year, perfect. I would love that.
That's a tall task.
Is that what things are pointing to? Sorachi at 84?
It's the only thing that makes sense. Putting him at 97 kind of bungles the roster, the lineup more than 84.
Wrong.
I feel like
Right?
No. If he goes 97, then Barr
Right.
can go 84, and they're a better team for sure.
Barr can go 97.
Barr's not really big enough for 97, in my opinion.
Cochran can go 97.
Barr would
Barr can
be
transfer.
having Barr in the lineup would be better than Cochran. Not that it matters, but objectively,
I know Storaci's a big 74. I didn't think he was so big that he can't he's a 97 pounder.
no, I don't.
That'd be
I think
that'd be crazy to me.
I think if he wrestled 97, I don't know how. He's strong enough. He's definitely not going to have to cut any weight, but I think he's probably strong enough to hang with most of those guys. Ferrari would probably be a challenge because Ferrari's also, freakishly strong. So
I just, when I think about it, I don't see him just weighing that much, but maybe I'm wrong, and he's obviously very good, but you have weight classes for a reason, and you want to give yourself the best chance to, if you're going to come back, you want to give yourself the best chance to finish out the right way.
Who would you take, him or Parker Keckeisen?
I don't know. I mean, Keckeisen good. Keckeisen is he might be the most underrated guy in the country in college wrestling.
Might be.
He's good. I mean, he dominated at 184 all year.
Yeah.
That'd be a good match, and it's a big style matchup, I think, because Storaci is not super high output, and Keckeisen, not Keckeisen's so high output, but he definitely gets after it, so it's is Storaci going to shut him down, or is Keckeisen going to kind of get rolling?
Right. Did Storaci look big at Olympic trials? I felt like he looked big.
For 7.
For having wrestled 74 and going up to 86 kilos, I felt like he looked bigger than a guy who was planning on wrestling 74 kilos.
Yeah, I feel like I couldn't really imagine him getting down to 65. He's definitely big for 74, right? I bet he's 190, 195.
Yeah.
But it's he still doesn't weigh, even what I just said, he still doesn't weigh the weight class.
Yeah.
But
he's going 84.
That's what I would have guessed. And then you can have the Barr or Cochran, match winner or whatever, go for 97.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Do you think we're going to start seeing some transfers out of that school? Do you see some leakage?
I mean, eventually, the kids want to wrestle, right? Eventually you got to think that.
I hope so.
I'm interested in what Bear Claw does, because I feel like everyone always he's had some really good results. Everyone talks about how good he is, and I want to see it.
He's at Utah Valley now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's their coach now? Adam Hall, right?
I think he's the head coach. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
because he just got that job.
That will be.
And I'm sure they're we got to do a good job with this kid, right?
Yeah.
Does he have 1 more year, 1 year, or 2 years?
I don't know. He's been a backup, but to my understanding, it's 1 year.
I'm gonna assume 1 year. Because I think his first year was 2020. Let's take a look here.
We don't have to do the math.
His first year was 2020. He redshirted, and then he did his 4 years, and now he's on his 5th because of COVID in 2021. Yep. This is his last year. It'll be interesting to see what he does, and maybe some people.
If he has a good year, maybe guys will be inspired and follow suit.
Right. Or maybe some guys will be like, holy crap, I'm going to be the 3rd string, and I was a number 1 kid coming out of high school. This sucks.
Well, yeah, it's just I could go to a lot of places and start and get a lot of attention and have someone really invested in my success who's going to put a lot into my career and maybe I'll do something really good. And that would inspire you to go somewhere else. Or you're like, I really like it here. And, I'm going to keep giving it a shot until I'm the guy. And then you go about it that way, I guess.
Yeah. How does it feel being around a school like Cornell where NIL has an impact, but it hasn't kind of really done what it's done at other schools where I was handing out $500,000 bags for guys to wrestle half a semester to a year.
I mean, our guy's making the joke like, I wonder if Mike's going to pay us this year.
Think Mike's gonna unlock the vault?
Yeah, right. But the one thing about it that is nice is everyone who's there wants to be there. You're not just there for the money. Yeah. And on the flip side, I think we all take some pride in like, all right, I could be making a bunch of money somewhere else, but I'm choosing to be here. Like we're all kind of in this together. So at first I was worried. I'm like, man, we're going to lose all these kids because how are we going to pay them? We don't pay. Like Cornell doesn't pay like that,
Right.
And Cornell already can't offer a scholarship to a kid. So it's like, that's going to put you at a disadvantage. But the junior class was amazing, and that's right in the middle of NIL. So I think if you can sell, hey, listen, we can set you up with like a great future, and you'll be able to wrestle well, and we have an RTC, I think that goes a long way with a kid.
Yeah, it really is part of that culture because I'm thinking about my visit there and my experience there. It's hard to replicate in other places just because. I don't know. It's so unique. I don't know if it's the water in Ithaca or what it is, but
it's not clean, that's for sure.
No.
I'm kidding.
But it is gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
It is gorgeous.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that, the NIL stuff, it definitely forces you to have certain tactics with the kids you're recruiting, whether you participate in it or not. Because whether or not you do it, the money is always a factor. And even if a kid's like, oh, money doesn't matter. Okay, well, we'll see how you feel when I put the money in your face. Or the reverse. Like, we'll see how you feel when I don't give you any money. You're like, wait, hold on.
Yeah. It's like, man, I would want to think that, man, I'm not going to let the money affect me. I'm going to be a part of something great. And then somebody flashes me a check with a lot of zeros.
Yeah, but it's like, imagine being a kid who, like, your family, like, just like, right, I'm a kid. My family doesn't have a lot of money, but I'm on this scholarship, so like that's awesome. And then I take 5th in the country, which is good, right? But it's like, okay, am I going to make a living off wrestling? Maybe, maybe not. And then I get a ring. I pick the phone up and say, hey, we'll give you $500,000 if you come here. You're like, well, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. Right. You also got to think about if you give a 18, 19, 20-year-old with that much money with little restrictive implication on how they can spend it, I hope they're making the right choices. And I'm worried as a fan of the sport that it's going to negatively impact the culture of some programs. So I hope that doesn't happen.
I mean, the one thing I always have thought about with this, and I don't know if it is a problem in other places, like I never hear about it, but like, what do you do when you give a kid money to go there, but one of the guys there isn't getting money, and you're like, what the heck?
Yeah. Even when it was just scholarships, that was the thing, and fortunately, Cornell hasn't ever really had to deal with that.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Having nothing to give.
Right. It's freeing.
All we got
is I just can't give you the money, man. Don't have it.
Doesn't exist.
Literally doesn't.
But they figure out how to make it work, so I think some of these other schools will have to kind of find their own path to victory with the kids, right?
Maybe take some notes. Learn a couple things from the people that are doing it.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Something like that.
Cornell's going to have the #1 recruiting class this year, probably.
The juniors, like this year's, they're about to be seniors.
Yeah, yes. 2025.
Like this senior class. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good class. Really good class.
The Cortez boys, Vega, Sherrington, Elijah, Delgado.
Oh my God.
Dude,
I mean,
Vega, that dude is.
I love how Sergio wrestles.
Yeah, he's a beast.
He goes after it. I never really see him get tired, and he's scrambly in the way that I am, which makes me love it. And he wrestles pretty hard. He's got good offense. Like I think he's gonna be really good.
Yeah,
and Mike like got on him before he had that good Super 32 run, which is cool.
Is that have they had the number one class between then and 2017 or now in 2017?
No. I don't know about the Julian Foca Cardenas Fernandez class, but I don't think so.
I think they were second or third that year.
2019?
Because I think that lined up with a really good Penn State class. That was like the Brooks and Starashi crew, I think.
Here, I got Willie's
maybe
stuff right here.
No, because I remember 2017 being number one for Cornell, and then 2025 is also probably going to be number one. That's kind of cool.
I'm pretty sure Foca and Julian were class of 18 or 19.
They were 19. 18 was Marola.
Yeah, that's Marola and Colton and those guys.
Yeah. You guys are still your top 20 on Bo Bassett's list.
UPJ going to the promised land.
So it's funny that you.
I'll accept bets if you want to bet on it. UPJ, they're plus 1,000.
It's funny that you talk about that. Ryan is all in on it too.
I
want Bo 5 to be.
I have Bo. I have UPJ make him to the top 15. That's where I have him going.
Oh, come on.
That's where
I want it to be like 4. Serious D1 places that are really, whatever. And then UPJ to be the 5th one. Come on, give it to me.
At this point, might as well.
Because at some point, like, he knows where he's going to go. So just keep UPJ in the mix as long as you can.
Yeah.
Ideally, you don't pass up Cornell. Perfect world, your last two are Cornell and UPJ.
Perfect.
And then if you go to UPJ, it's like, you know what? Good for you, man.
Just wanted to stay close to home,
Go Panthers.
It's a solid D2 program.
My 49-pounder from the past 2 years is wrestling there now.
Yep. Yes, he is. Well,
Bo's coming to fill his shoes.
Perfect.
That's what I keep telling him. I keep telling Matt, I was like, he's going to come there and just, he's going to skip a year and just come to UPJ and take your spot, Matt. And he was like, don't say that because he'll actually do it.
Man, speaking of Bo Bassett, what we had a conversation about this last episode. What do you think about he and Jax Forrest are the two ends of the spectrum when it comes to how you can kind of market yourself in the high school sphere?
Yeah, I mean, Bo does incredible. It's got to be some people whose names rhyme with Johnny might find that like difficult and possibly tedious, but like he does a good job with that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you start doing it young.
He got Max Effort Muscle to make like a Bo Bassett line of something. I don't know what it is. It's like a pre-workout or a protein.
Which is crazy to me. How do you do that?
Yeah, I mean, this kid has never put on a college wrestling singlet.
But shouldn't you be like a nutritionist to make pre-workout?
Oh, dude, I'm sure. I mean, I don't know. There's different levels of involvement, right? They could have literally just made something and slapped his name on it, or maybe they collaborated in the sense that, like, hey, let's try to make it sugar-free, or let's try to make it all organic, or like whatever they wanted to do with it. But it's not like there's no way he knows, like, oh, this is the ideal. I mean, someone has to know that. They're a supplement company.
You want to have this blend. Yeah. Maybe Bo Bassett's not only a marketing genius, but also an unbelievable chemist. You never know.
He's the next Breaking Bad.
He's what's I've
Walter
never
White.
seen it. What's Walter White, but Heisenberg. He's Heisenberg.
He's Heisenberg.
It'd be funny.
Oh, Beauregard. Bowen. That's a full name.
Bowen? That's crazy. And then Jack's Force is just like, yeah, I show up to tournaments and I wrestle. And
He's like, I like to win wrestling matches, and I'm cool about it, I guess.
Yeah.
Not cool about it, but you know what I mean? He's like, I'm just going to win my matches. And if
That's
you
it.
wanted to find out, you could look it up.
Right.
Which I can appreciate. I can appreciate a good, I'm not going to play the game guy. I'm just going to go to my tournaments and wrestle in them, and you'll like it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're gonna eat this broccoli, and you're going to like it, kid.
Right. I am kind of curious to see if you've put any thought into this about what things look like for you moving forward. And the thing that kind of spurred this on is obviously at the end of the cycle, you see a lot of people move on from wrestling. And I don't want you to do that, Yianni. Let me make it very clear. I want you to be around for the next 5 to 10 cycles. That would be great. That would be ideal. But like, are you gonna? Because Trevor Brandvold is just like, I'm moving on from wrestling. I'm gonna go into the real world or whatever. Or can you go be a college coach? Are you gonna go do something?
I'd like to coach. I really enjoy coaching.
Yeah.
The last 2 years I helped out with the Gap Year guys, and for what I'm doing right now, that's like the perfect level of involvement, right? Like I help run some of the workouts. I'm at a tournament now and again. This year it's better. I mean, obviously I'm hurt, so I'm more involved, but it's better because we have this guy, Tyler Kim, was an NCAA champion for Augsburg. And he got into Cornell's, one of the master's programs at Cornell. So he's like coaching the Frogs full time. And that's nice because, if I was competing and I was like, you know what, man, I'm really worn out today. It was like a long training day. I can be like, Tyler, can you get this one? And he'd be like, yeah, which is awesome. But, in a time where I wasn't competing full time and I would just lean into the coaching, I think I would really, really enjoy that. I like helping the guys out and I think some people, right, they don't like the office work or the out of the room responsibilities, but I actually don't mind them, right? I mean, pretty much any job you work is going to have that aspect to it. So
you don't mind filling out a little bit of paperwork?
A little paperwork, a couple phone calls. I'm have more 16-year-old phone numbers than I probably should, but
yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, it kind of, as long as you're Safe Sport certified, you're good to go.
Safe Sport certified. But I really enjoy it. And there's something fulfilling about a kid that you work with doing good stuff because it's like, you just think about like how much your coach has done for you and means to you. And it's like, man, it'd be cool to be like that for someone else.
That is true. Is part of their evaluation process a couple of rounds of Smash Bros. Just to see what they're like and where they're at there? That's
more like, are we going to hang out when we're done coaching, or are you just like the guy I coach and then we're going to have to cut it after that?
Do you spend too much time at the library, or are you like?
Are we going to bro down, or are you going to study up? Right. I mean, Coach Jan, it's like you got to study up, but we can also bro down as well.
Right. Absolutely. Is that the game of choice still these days, or have times moved on? Am I getting old?
I don't know. I'm not on the team anymore, but it kind of fizzled out a little bit, at least like when I was towards the end of it, because more groups came in that didn't really play it. So then it was like more people you had to teach how to play.
Right. That's a shame.
For a while. I mean, NCAA 25 coming out has really had a chokehold on.
Oh my goodness.
It's unbelievable. I'm taking the Raging Cajuns to the promised land at some point.
You're playing it too?
Louisiana Raging Cajuns. I can't get the hours in that maybe a college student can get, but I can play a game here and there. And one day, the Cajuns are going to find glory in my Dynasty League.
I feel like the college students that you're around should only be able to get like 1 hour in a day or something like that.
I'm sure
You're a hater.
Time. I'm sure those guys find time, unfortunately. Maybe fortunately. Yeah. I don't know. It's nice to relax, but
it's good to unwind. Well, I think that's about all I got. We're just over an hour. Ryan, Reese, do you guys have anything else?
The sun is going down.
Yeah.
On my room. I'm getting darker.
And the moon has come up.
Fading away.
The moon is coming up. It's probably up right now. I just can't see it.
Stare into the abyss long enough, and the abyss stares into you.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't want that.
Yeah, get that out of here.
I don't like that.
No, I got nothing.
Yianni, it was great to have you on. This is technically a little behind the scenes. This is the second time we've had you on. The first time will remain in the archives forever and will never come out.
I know, the sick voice is killer.
Yeah, it's the best, honestly. But the people, yeah, you act. I was like, "Are you okay?" And you're just like, "I just had some regular people food, and this is what I sound like." I was like, okay.
Literally, I was so locked down on the diet just to wrestle great and feel really good, and then the voice was gone.
Yeah,
I have to return to normal, which is tough.
Well, hey, we're at the end of the episode. It was great having you on. Do you have anything that you want to plug? Something coming up? You dropping a new shoe, whatever it is.
Yeah, we actually, shameless plug. We're gonna re-release some more shoes, but just restock some of the colors that maybe it came out as that limited batch. But I came up with a cool idea that will probably gets talked about a little bit more in the next couple weeks. But kind of letting the people choose what the next pair of shoes look like, which I love a good democracy. So we're going to let the people decide what the next pair of shoes look like, which is going to be fun.
What? You should drop that around November this year. It could kind of line up with some other event that's going on where people are deciding things in this country,
You can say Christmas on here, Sammy. It's all good.
No, it was November 5th. It's the election, Ryan. Come on.
The election. Listen, there's the election, but let's be honest, it's all behind the scenes stuff. We're talking about the real election of what color shoes is Yianni going to release.
Exactly.
I'll go conspiracy theorist on that.
There's no electoral college for the shoes.
No electoral college for the shoes. True democracy. Going back to my home country, Greece, and doing it the old-fashioned way.
Dude, all right. I actually did want to ask you one more question. I'm sorry. Look, I know you love our country. I know that you're a red-blooded American through and through. But you could wrestle for Greece, right?
I totally could.
Maybe you'll have to transfer to the Cliff Keen Wrestling Club to do it. I totally understand, but
I totally could.
What do you think? What do you think about it?
It's definitely an enticing thought, but there are some things that would have to go into it, and there's a lot of deciding factors other than it would be sweet to just start every year at the World Championships. I'd probably have more world medals than one, which would be cool. But it's came up before, and it's something that has been talked about and maybe thought about, but not no hard line one way or the other, but definitely I'm aware of that possibility for sure. And there's some good and some bad to it, like all decisions.
Yeah. And also
I would be a great president because I'm good at giving you these wishy-washy answers.
Look, I know that both things are possible.
Listen, I love being an American and living in the United States. I think it's objectively one of the best places in the world you could possibly live for 100 reasons that people don't acknowledge. But my dad literally came to the United States from Greece. He was born in Greece and he spoke Greek at home, and it would mean a lot to my family. So there's good and bad things about both, obviously, right? But I am learning Greek on Duolingo because my grandmother has been saying I need to learn Greek, so I'm on it.
Of course.
So you're transferring, is what you're saying?
Yeah,
it's on. It's happening.
The process is already in the works.
Yeah, I'm wearing the singlet tomorrow.
No, we're happy. We're happy to have you under the United States flag, and if I had it my way, we'd keep it that way. So.
After you win Olympic gold for us, then you can go wrestle wherever you want to wrestle.
Perfect.
Then it'll be like NIL. It's like, who wants to pay me the most to represent them?
Exactly. Maybe you'll end up being Bahrain.
But if you want the NIL money, you got to get the national title first.
Yeah, you shave that mustache, and you could probably go wrestle for Russia.
Yeah.
Got tea, Brad.
You were doing Duolingo for Russia for a while.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like a linguistic. I'll be a language guy. I'll be a good speaker.
There you go.
Maybe I'll be a CIA agent with all the languages I'll learn. Then I don't have to. Then I won't coach. The coaching will be like my side job.
Yeah, they'll have you like ringside after a UFC fight, and you'll just be the translator. Like, yeah, he said he knocked the shit out of him.
Show me location, Irish chicken.
Perfect. All right, Yianni, it was great having you on. Awesome show. To the people, thank you for listening. Hope you have a good day. Hope you have a good rest of your night.